I wanted to first thank you and welcome you to this interview, and thank you for making time. I think the main thing, Hiroshi, well, I'm getting used to calling you Hiroshi-san, and I think it's very important I call you that.
Just call me Hiroshi.
Okay, thank you. So, Hiroshi, I basically wanted you to give us an introduction to yourself, and then how did you come to get involved in accessibility for persons with disabilities?
Yeah. So, thank you very much for making time to interview me on my first background. And I was opened my eyes with the successful candidate of the Braille examination at the University of Tokyo, who was the first successful candidate. It was 1977, a long time ago. And since then, I have been collaborating with that brilliant blind student who is already grown up now. And since almost 1977, that was my background. And at that time, I was a university librarian of the University of Tokyo Library. And I was requested to create a strategic plan how to serve blind students on campus at the University of Tokyo. And I conducted a nationwide interview with the already studying blind students at universities across the country. And I found there has been literally no effective library services provided by the university library at that time in Japan. It was a shock. And then I started my work to change my library to serve blind students as well as other students with disabilities on campus. That was the beginning of my long story of the accessibility exploration from the university point of view.
Wow, that is fascinating, Hiroshi, because also it was pretty early, in 1977, Japan was already thinking about accessibility for blind students. That's a fascinating introduction to gaining insight into our needs and carrying out that national research. So Hiroshi, how did that lead to DAISY? Tell us a little bit about what DAISY is all about.
Yeah. What I found was the Braille system is very much suitable for the at that time, the pre-internet age, and we call it PC communication. And the Braille was nicely matching to that age of communication. And we introduced a Braille terminal hooked up to the computer center on campus. And at that time, we used a modem. Probably many young people don't know what is modem is. It was a 300 baud rate modem we introduced and purchased Braillink. It was the British-made 40-cell Braille, refreshable Braille terminal. It was 1984.
Wow, okay, excellent.
Successfully, hooked up it to the computer center from the library through the telephone line. It was through the telephone line. Yes. And we looked for the already accessible contents on the net. At that time, it was the dawn of the net age among
Yes.
Braille users who wrote and read Braille in electronic format through the network. And we started with that. But when it comes to the, say, the mathematical equations,
Yes.
it doesn't work.
Yes.
So, yeah, just a plain text. And so then Braille terminal was very, very expensive at that time. So when it comes to the more generalized library services, we had to think about the alternatives of the cassette tape at that time.
Yes.
And the international exchange of talking book was very much relied on the cassette tape at that time. But the cassette tape has, of course, the end of the day, like other technologies. And we expected that will come in 1990s. In the middle of 1990s, there will be the end of the age of cassette tape. And we started to think about the next generation of the talking book through the International Federation of Library Associations section of Libraries for the Blind. I took the chair of this section from 1990, and that was my responsibility to find the next generation talking book. And I was looking for the best technology which is suitable for the next generation talking book. And obviously it was the digital recording, digital audio,
Yes.
which will be transferred from the network. And so cassette tape age, we relied on the mail system, snail mail from
Yes.
now. Yeah. So it requires a lot of cost, a lot of time, and the cassette tape duplication and circulation itself a big task. But in order to eliminate all those, we found it is very promising to have the electronic transfer of the electronic digital contents. So in order to achieve that, many countries at that time from early 1990s started their own development. And there was a threat. If each country develops their own system, how can we exchange it internationally?
Yes.
So that was my responsibility as the chair of the section of Libraries for the Blind of the International Federation of Library Associations. And I found the most promising digital system from Sweden, which was called DAISY, and the most promising device to playback produced by Japanese company.
Yes.
And I requested those two groups to come together to develop an international digital talking book standard. And if they insist on their own patent, there will be no standard. So
Yes.
I requested them to come up with the real open standard, which doesn't require any license fees, but the IFRA section of libraries for the blind as a whole will collaborate with them to make it a standard. And then they can have some reasonable size or global size of the market. So, and very fortunately, those two companies from Sweden and from Japan accepted that proposal. Yes.
What was the Japanese company called at that time?
Shinano Kenshi.
Shinano Kenshi.
Yeah, and
they partnered with Sweden.
Yeah, at that time, the Swedish company was called Labyrinten. And Labyrinten is now purchased by Dolphin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a part of the Dolphin company. But at that time, it was the Swedish company called Labyrinten. And they got a fund for the development from the Swedish Braille and Talking Book Library. It was a national library.
Yeah, you were such a visionary so early on, just from your first exposure of encountering a blind student using Braille in the 70s, and then your in-depth understanding leading to the promotion of technology and the establishment of DAISY. I wonder if the blindness community globally realize, I know you're such a modest and humble person, but recognize the instrumental part you played in bringing about accessibility for us in terms of access to information. And this is initially print information. So talk more about that, Hiroshi, how the DAISY codes came into place, how the different DAISY features came about, from navigational to voices to all of that.
Yeah. The invention of the DAISY in Sweden, that was the first generation of DAISY, was the production of the digital contents, digital audio contents on PC, and then play it back on the PC. So everything is on the PC and based on the Microsoft technology and running on the Windows. So that was very well crafted invention.
Yes.
And the device, playback device produced by Shinano Kenshi was based on their compression technology at that time. And they were quite professional for the digital audio music industry. And they have a very good network of global distribution of digital audio. And that digital audio system, network system, should have a good playback tool.
It's amazing the history and how over different decades technology advanced, and how instrumental you've been in bringing things together that kept advancing the accessibility for visually impaired persons. If we come to more current times, what has DAISY achieved for us as blind users when it comes to accessing information? And how has it influenced the advancement of other technologies? Because of the open source codes, I'm aware that commercial companies have taken those codes and have included it into smart technologies.
Yeah. I'm very happy to collaborate with many contributors for the DAISY standard development and also the dissemination of the DAISY-related products, which actually, how can I say, raised the floor of the accessibility of printed materials. So of course, DAISY technology is based on the web accessibility technology.
Yes.
And so the origin of the DAISY standard was the joint effort of a Swedish company and Japanese company. But in 1996, we started the DAISY Consortium with several countries representatives who were the IFLA, International Federation of Library Associations, member organizations of the section of libraries for the blind. So essentially, DAISY Consortium is the spin-off organization of the section of libraries for the blind of IFLA.
Yes.
But started with the European and Japanese members. We were very aware of what's going on in the United States. And in the United States, on one hand, very well developed Library of Congress network system. And also there was an emerging technology of text-based information technology, which relies on the text-to-speech engine, TTS.
Yes.
And what we did for the audio talking book development was based on the Microsoft technology and limited to the Windows-based environment. But what was proposed was the web technology. So every web technology requires to have multi-platform. That means at least 2 platforms is required to make the application running.
Okay.
And not just Windows, but also, for example, Linux or iOS.
Okay.
So with that, more openness for the platform is required. So then, yet another aspects we found was when we conducted our seminar it was in Denmark. A blind person who attended the seminar talked about the potential of the digital talking book. If it is based on the digital technology, and the audio should have the corresponding the text information while you are listening to some words. Always it is required the knowledge on how to spell. It should be done. And it was a very striking question because at that time we were totally relying on audio, digital audio. And so in order to meet that requirements, we should explore how to include the text contents
with voice.
Yeah, with
synchronize
the voice.
it. Yes.
And then there was a candidate of technology to make the audio with synchronized with the text. That was called Synchronized Multimedia Integration Language, in short, SMILE. This was the final piece of the mosaic which we needed to draw. So, and in 1967, which was the deadline of the standardization of the candidate for the international standard of the digital talking book of the next generation, which was defined by the IFRA. We self-declared that within 2 years, we will develop the standard in Istanbul in 1995 at the IFRA General Conference. And the 2 years later, 1997, we have concluded the global field test of the candidate, which we counted 1,000 participants from 30 countries, and we produced 500 prototypes distributed across those 30 countries, and got the response of 1,000 blind people from those countries. And there were a lot of criticism on the system, but the end words of those criticism is, you should go ahead.
Yes.
It was very interesting. So then we have to conclude our 2 years of development period at that time. So we have concluded that the function of the talking book of the next generation should be like this. But the ways of creation could be different from the DAISY first generation. And we have decided a very important decision to change the ways of production of the talking book, which is DAISY second generation.
Yes.
The second generation DAISY required the SMILE to be W3C standard. And in order to meet the real requirement of synchronization of audio and text. So then we put all our energy on the completion of the SMILE, and from 1997 till 1998. So 1 year later of the deadlines, 1998, we have achieved the DAISY 2 standard, which has the full functionality of the agreed on in 1997, and also the technology potential to provide synchronized text and audio, which is the current DAISY, and transferred to the EPUB.
So when we were with the DAISY 2 generation, by then we had moved into the space of publication, is it?
Yeah.
Where the creation of the source file would have the codes in it to allow for navigational features and the beginnings of text-to-speech, is it? In that, and highlighting and all of that, was that already being factored in, or did that come later?
It's a SMILE function.
SMILE function.
Yes.
Okay. And now, where are we with DAISY, Hiroshi? Because Has DAISY moved, apart from the technological advancements, it did so much for policy development globally, for putting in place treaties or influencing treaties, because by creating those technologies, it influenced distribution of content, accessibility for nations to content, sharing and creation of content, all became impacted on. So you moved into multiple spaces of regulatory frameworks, as well as technological development, as well as production. I'm thinking, as well as devices. I mean, devices had to be created to be able to play a DAISY content. So many things started to come into place. Share a little bit about that. And it seemed to be happening at a rapid pace, because I only joined your world in the early 2000s when you came to South Africa for the IFLA conference. That was my first time hearing about DAISY. And soon after that, I mean, around that time, you were the DAISY world president. And then around that time, you were already had a vision for developing countries.
The visionary from the World Blind Union was actually Pedro Zurita. He was the Secretary General of the World Blind Union. And in the year 2000, I think, there was the World Blind Union General Assembly held in Australia. And at that time, Montien and Pedro talked about DAISY is the gift from the blindness world to the rest of the world.
Yes,
they talked
absolutely.
About it. So, and the technology background is the DAISY is actually the electronic publishing based on the web technology.
Yes.
So the accessibility features of DAISY is always reflecting the accessibility features of the web.
Yep.
And as web contents accessibility guidelines is revised, always the DAISY was revised. And now DAISY was, I should say that the electronic publishing industry first global gathering of the electronic publishing, DAISY Consortium was one of the major participants of that initiative. And since then, still now, the DAISY Consortium has been doing a lot for the industry standard development of the electronic publishing, in particular for its accessibility. So currently, all DAISY accessibility features are transferred to the EPUB, which is the industry standard of the electronic publishing now.
Yes.
And EPUB and EPUB accessibility, both are industry standard as well as the international standard of ISO.
Yes.
Defines the technology features of accessibility. That is the history of the accessible publishing.
And when I think of the Googles and the Microsofts and that, they must have recognized this huge potential because they were emerging and they joined forces and became friends and of DAISY. Did they make much of a contribution?
Yeah, that is yes. But
yes.
Why they make contribution has some background. And the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is very much backbone of the legal requirements of the accessibility. And that convention was very much stimulated and pushed forward by the outcome of the World Summit on the Information Society, which was held in 2003 and 2005. And the convention formulated in 2006. So the DAISY Consortium was the global disability focal point of the World Summit on the Information Society in 2003 through 2005. And myself and Montien Buntan was the function of the focal point of the Global Disability Group. And we introduced to the World Summit the universal design concept as the guiding principle of digital accessibility, so that we can effectively prevent the digital divide. So this introduction of the global universal design to the summit was the contribution of the disability community. And we, DAISY Consortium, are very proud to be the focal point of that very important global disability community.
And today, Hiroshi, since so much has been taken over by these commercial organizations, I think we continue to develop open source codes, do we? Does DAISY still have its voluntary network that continue to advance, or has it all now been taken over by commercial entities?
Open technology only be achieved by the open standard. The real global open standard requires the technology is not patented. Or patented but open to everybody without licensing fees or without any restrictions. So anyway, it requires active initiative of persons with disabilities to make it open. That's the reason why the DAISY Consortium has been working very hard to develop the open standard and make it open.
So, Hiroshi, do the techno giants like Google and that also contribute in some way to certain things being open, or is it, in their case, it's all proprietary?
Yeah, but they're essential objectives of the company is to get the revenue from not contribute to the people with disabilities.
They can collaborate.
They can collaborate, but they cannot initiate.
That's right. And if you think about it, it's actually influenced people with disabilities and persons with blindness to enter into jobs that they would have never dreamt of, to enter and to make contributions in fields that they would have never had if it wasn't for now being able to access information. And they themselves work now within these big techno giants to contribute to their advancement in these big companies. There's so many amazing blind persons now based in these organizations. And to think, where it all started. So Hiroshi, if we look at audio description and images, where are we there in terms of creating accessibility? I know it's advanced rapidly, and AI has come into place, and we're having now the benefit as blind persons to get instant image description. Even in our own business, ShazaCin, we're finding that AI is supporting us with one level of speeding up our efficiency in creating description, but it's more supplementing and assisting, but it's critical for us as the team to work with it. But Hiroshi, with DAISY, where are we in terms of looking at image and all the open source developers?
Yeah, DAISY Consortium has been working on the alternative text or alt text for the images. And so definitely this will contribute to the audio description, and vice versa. Audio description development will benefit the alt text development. And AI is, of course, one of the promising tools, and we are working on this, sometimes together with Google or together with Microsoft. We appreciate their collaboration. But we have to reach out to more and more people with diverse disabilities to meet their needs. And that part will be the very important role of disability community. And DAISY Consortium has a close relationship with initially the blindness organizations, but also we are developing other disability groups relationship. So I think it's a very important area of the technology development of the DAISY Consortium for the future.
And that's a really important point, because when I joined you and we started DAISY South Africa, I learned very quickly that what you were doing and what DAISY was doing globally was going far beyond the blindness sector. And also you had coined a whole new term, print disabled, because when we looked at a new definition of information, inaccessibility of information arising out of print disabilities and alternate reading formats, which became all new language arising from DAISY, we realized that people with different types of conditions, whether it's neurological, physical, sensory, even just socially brought about that they're illiterate because of lack of education, all fell under this category, and now DAISY was benefiting all of them. So that in itself is such a major contribution. So we can stop now because you stopped at a good point. Can I let you just make a concluding statement?
Yeah. So this is very crucial time for the persons who are, I should say, underserved from the forthcoming technology development, which is centered by the AI development. Yes. AI is the one of the most important innovator, but innovation itself is not always good. So the issue is, who is going to make use of this innovation for what? And I think we, disability community, should talk and think about it thoroughly with the global network. And then we can find the way to make the forthcoming innovation in the near future to be a meaningful one for everybody.
Yes. Thank you. And that, if we look at your history, that has been your approach all the way, is for open communication and collaboration across all sectors to arrive at solutions for all. Thank you very much, Hiroshi, and we will pick up with you again afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for this interesting interviewing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye. Bye.